What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. Um, this is gonna be a fun video. I went on last night, and happy Memorial Day, by the way. I went on last night, and uh, basically, it was kind of a random. I was organizing books. I was like excited about Larry Hama coming to SummerCon. It was a late announcement. It's what prompted me to actually get tickets to the event. I'd been wanting to go because of it was an opportunity to meet Mara Wolfman and like Mike Grell. Um, but I was like kind of looking forward to just kind of skipping that and spending money elsewhere. But now that Hama's going to be there, it changes everything. And that's like the priority event now. Um, Rose City, we're still planning to go there, but it's changed the game plan. We have $400. We're gonna take the entirety of that $400 to the event. Try to pick up some books that are on my list of things. Trying to get them at a good price, but also again meet all the artists that are going to be at SummerCon. So it's going to be a packed 4 hours. Now I'm going Friday, the first day, and it's from 3:30 to 7 p.m. So it's less than 4 hours to try to do everything. So the first booth we're going to go to is Larry Hama's booth. We're going to try to get as many books signed by him, try to get some prints, signed prints and stuff by him as well. I just really engage with him. And then we're going to head over to Marv Wolfman's booth. Same thing. Then Mike Grell's booth and Bob Hall's booth. And I think those are the four artists that I'm really just looking to get books signed. And of course, engage with. Because they were really sort of active when I was collecting comics. I mean, when I got into comics, those four gentlemen were the big names in comic books. And they still, are, I mean, in terms of their legendary status, are still uh, definitely relevant to today's comic book fandom as well. But, you know, I was, I feel sort of blessed to have been collecting and reading their works since I was a wee lad. So it's going to be a great opportunity. So it got me to thinking. Last night I did put this kind of discombobulated video together about books that I wanted to get signed by Hama and those artists. Well, we've kind of refined the book list and we're going to go through, and what I'm really going to cover in this video, first off, um, we're going to look at the artists I'm targeting for events. And just like I mentioned, when Larry Hama announced he was coming to SummerCon, it was kind of like a drop what you're doing moment. That's what we're going to do. We're going to SummerCon. We're going to meet the legend. And so I'm going to outline um, the artists that I'm targeting and the books that are waiting in reserve to be signed when we eventually get that opportunity. So let's say Jim Lee pops up at Rose City. What are the next books that we're going to get signed by him? Because I have 3 signed by him. And assuming he does something similar in Rose City, if he comes, what are the 3 books that I want to get signed by Jim Lee at that event? because we're definitely getting that, right? It's 150 probably for 3 books, so we're definitely taking advantage of that. Um, so that's kind of where my mind is. I'm going to share with you the artists that I'm targeting, as well as the artists that are currently locked down for the 2 events I'm attending. So it's going to be a fun video. I'm going to go through a lot of books, about books that I want to get signed. Um, and it really is limit. We've got to limit the number of books because, well, let's start with like the first artist, right? I think uh, with SummerCon uh, being the first event up this summer, and Larry Hama being the focal point of that event, this is a book I want to get signed. Wolverine 88. Now, this is just a big book because of the movie spec, right? You know, Logan's going to make maybe his final appearance. Sorry, not Logan. Hugh Jackman's going to make his final kind of appearance as Logan in this movie. Never Say Never. And this is supposed to be the last installment of Deadpool, um, by Ryan Reynolds. Never say never, but that's sort of the plan. So just a lot of uh, fan anticipation. And when that announcement was made, I went out and got this book. I didn't go out right away and get this book. I traded for this book. I'm happy with this book, actually. It's I don't feel like I need to go get another copy, but now that I'm going to get it signed, it kind of cements this as like really. Um, I would put this grade at a solid 7.5, 8.0 in that range. So it's high grade. It's just got some spine ticks and whatnot, but again, the signature is really going to solidify this newsstand copy of Wolverine that I have. So really looking forward to getting this signed. And that's kind of what we're going to cover, right? We're going to go between artists and stuff. The next event I want to highlight is Rose City Comic Con. And the focal point of that event in September is going to be Peach Momoko. And I've been talking about this for the last 5, 6 videos. You all know how much Peach means to me in terms of favorite artists, works I really just, again, she's a favorite of a lot of people, a lot of collectors. But I am definitely one of those, just enamored by her work, her talent as an artist, her, again, Japanese heritage, her approach to artwork. Just, I mean, I'm just a complete, uh, like, fan of everything Peach. And what's really cool is my wife is going to Japan, and I put on her list of things to get me her Peach's original Japanese sketchbooks that were published in Japan. Those are really expensive here, but in Japan, I have this inkling that my wife will be able to get them at a used bookstore for rather like around what they sell retail. So I said, if you find these at retail, buy as many as copies as you can. And then hopefully she at least brings back 2 of each of the sketchbooks that were published, and we get those signed. So having said that, that's definitely on the top of the things we're hoping to add to the collection and have signed at the end of the day. Okay. Having said that, we're going to go through some additional books for Peach for that event. Now, what's really interesting is at New York City Comic Con, if you recall last year, there was a hubbub because There were just some sellers at the event, authorized dealers, sellers at the event, who were like cutting in line or just taking advantage of her time with the signing of the books, and people got upset, and it caught like there was a fight that broke out, apparently, like a physical altercation that broke out. Peach was shocked that that kind of thing happened. I think they were actually some people were actually like kind of being threatening to her and some of the event staff. But anyway, what kind of caused it was Peach's own like generosity. She was willing to sign 10 books, 10 free books. And now with this whole thanks for ruining it for the rest of us kind of moment, I doubt she'll come to Rose City Comic Con with a 10 book signature policy because of that, right? Like people were just getting sick of waiting and all that. It's like she'll probably I don't know what her policy will be, but she'll probably reduce it by half at least. I'm hoping she at least has 5 books. But that puts a real strain on me of what to get signed. So assuming I get 2 of her Japanese sketchbooks in my position, those are 2 I definitely want. That leaves maybe possibly 3. Now I'm conjecturing she might go ahead and sign 10 books. So we're definitely going to bring as many books as we can, but prioritize. So one of the things I do want to get signed is not necessarily this copy. There's another copy in this series. This is Usagi Yojimbo, Wanderer's Road. And there's a beautiful landscape where Usagi is in a field with these flowers and he's just looking up at the sky, real close up. I want to get that cover signed. I'd love to get all of these books signed. This entire, so I think it's a six issue run, maybe 8 issue run. But I know that's a big lift, especially if she's going to be only signing a limited number of books. So what I'm hoping is, again, if she has 10 signatures, I can get maybe two from this series signed, this one and that other Wanderer's Road copy I'm speaking of. If she, again, limits it, I at least want to get that Usagi landscape cover signed. I think it's issue number 5 or 4. And the reason I want to get it signed is because Stan Sakai is also going to be at Rose City Comic Con. So it's a perfect opportunity to have her sign the book and Stan sign the book and have two signatures on this book, which it would be just incredible. So hopefully I can get this one signed as well as the Wanderer's Road if we have the bandwidth for more. If we don't have the bandwidth for more, I'll just have to see if I can pick up that other one. If we pick up that other one, that will take precedence over this one. If we don't get that other one, we'll try to get this one signed by both artists. This is another book we definitely want to get signed by Peach. And that's this Demon Days #1, Sai. I am wanting to get the design variant, which is a pretty costly book, and hopefully we run into it this summer. I don't want to pick it up off eBay if at all possible, but the closer we get to that date, if we get a copy, I'll get that design variant signed rather than this one. But if we don't get the design variant, we'll get this one signed. And it's just this. I love this cover. This is a book high grade, definitely would love to see slabbed, but I don't think we're going to be targeting CDC signature books. We haven't made a full decision on that yet. but that's kind of where I'm leaning, just having these as raw copies. Um, here are some other books that we could potentially get. Again, if we have the bandwidth, um, get these ones. Electra, Black, White, Blood. That love that cover there. This Wonder Woman cover, very nice as well. Future State, love that. Uncle Nama will buy it for me. Um, thanks, Joe. Always appreciate your trolling. um, the let's see here. We've got this is another one we're definitely going to get signed by Peach. Two we want to get signed. One is the Weapon X Wolverine there. Oh, it's a beautiful cover. The other is this amazing Psylocke cover. So I think if we're prioritizing, assuming my wife gets those two sketchbooks, we're going to get those two signed. And let's just assume she says only 3 books, guys. Sorry. It'd be the 2 sketchbooks and the Demon Days design variant. Those are the 3. Now I don't have the design variant, but assuming this summer I come across it and get it by September, if I have those 3 books in my possession, those are the 3 books we're getting signed. Outside of those 3, again, I don't have any of those 3 in my possession. But if we're going to get 3 books signed, it would be these 3 in terms of the ones I have. Okay. And again, if we pick up that other Usagi Yojimbo from the series, we'll get that signed along with these 2. So those are some, big ifs, but at least we have more than enough books for her to sign rather than just not having, I have things in my collection I can definitely have signed, all of these would be beautiful to get signatures on, but not everything needs to be, I doubt we'll have an opportunity to get everything signed. All right, so Stan Sakai is going to be there. I think we may get some more books just for him from the Usagi Yojimbo series, and kind of figuring out what we want signed there. Simon Bisley is another artist that's going to be at Rose City, and we want to pick up more books by him to get signed. So I'm targeting maybe 1 or 2 books for him to sign. Again, it's in September. We're kind of doing the due diligence. I'm already this close to getting one of the books that we want to get signed. And we'll see how that goes. I kind of put in an offer. I'm just waiting for the buyer to accept. If he accepts, it's coming. If he doesn't, I'm not gonna pay more than that for that book. But we'll see. Maybe I will pull the trigger if he comes back with a higher price. Okay. One of the artists whom I am definitely targeting is Mark Silvestri. And what bodes well for Mark Silvestri is Silvestri comes to Seattle quite often. He has a very good relationship with the organizers. I mean, he's been featured as the sort of the Emerald City cover art for the program or the comic that they give out. Several times he's been featured as one of the main. I mean, for obvious reasons, he's going to be the sort of the highlight or the main attraction of any con. So I think he hasn't been to Seattle in the last 3 years. This past Seattle Emerald City Comic Con was a huge event. It's like it came back in full force in 2023. So I think that definitely is going to put the event on a lot of people's radars for next year. I have a very good feeling that he's going to be at Emerald City Comic Con come next spring. So, what books are we going to get signed? Well, I already met, if you watched my video from last night, you know that I'm targeting this book. This book is sort of a larger project. So, this is one of the books I'm going to have Larry Hama sign. And I'm going to have it signed. So, this is a die cut cover, right? I'm not going to have him sign on the cover. I'm going to have him sign right on the inside cover right here. So you kind of see the signature through the die cut, but you don't until you open it up. And this is not a book I'm going to get slabbed or do any of that kind of nonsense. This is my original. Yeah, this is my original copy from high school when this book came out. So we'll have, again, Larry's signature here. And if Mark comes next year for Emerald City Comic Con, which I'm banking on, I'm pretty sure he's going to make it next year, I'll get Mark Silvestri's signature right under Larry's here. And again, so you can see it through the die cut cover. On the interior page, we're going to get those signatures. So you'll see them. And then, like I mentioned yesterday, there's an interior like poster, or not poster, but page pinup of Jim Lee's yellow suit Wolverine, the one that's kind of pricey ratio variant that was recently published. That art is on the back. I think it's on the last cover page. So we'd get, again, Larry, Mark, and Jim's signature on the back page. And have it signed by the three of my and this would, if I got those three signatures on this book, that would make this book very, 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 very like top of the my favorite collectibles page. That'd just be incredible to have on my original book from when I got this in 1991, right? So that's a work in progress. This is a work in progress, but a very exciting work in progress. And I think in terms of Jim Lee, Jim Lee's he might even make it to Rose City Comic Con as a late announcement, to be honest. That's what happened last year. He just announced Phoenix, like Tucson is like, he's going there. I could really see him just saying, you know what, let's go to Portland and just showing up. So in terms of the three books we want Jim to sign, this would be one of them. Okay, we're going to continue to cover. But sticking on Mark Silvestri for a little bit, I already have Mark Silvestri's signature that I got back in college on a Spawn cover that he did. Beautiful Spawn cover. But again, that Wolverine book, and this is another book I'd want to get signed by Mark. It's the Crucifixion cover there. One of my favorite covers of all time. And I think the other one, any of the Inferno series, which I am targeting to pick up this summer as well, would work. So there's a lot of bandwidth for it is a cheap book, but again, its significance to me is quite important. And plus, you're not going to have too many books where you have like Larry Hama, Jim Lee, and Mark Silvestri all associated with. Those are three of my favorite artists. Now, there's a lot of Silvestri and Hama work because they worked together on the Wolverine title for a bit. There's even covers with Silvestri and Jim Lee where they actually do the art together. But for the three of them to do on the same project, that's rare. And that's why the die cut is getting signed. So, yeah. I don't care if it's if it's there's no value in the book. It holds a lot of value for me. That book is getting signed. I think for Silvestri books, there's a lot of things we can get signed. So I don't know if there's anything here necessarily, but we definitely will do some more research on Silvestri books. I want to say Larry Hama for last. I know we did already one Larry Hama book, but let's focus on Jim Lee now. So I want to there's a lot of stuff I want to get signed by Jim Lee. Jim Lee is like, if we could get I have 200 books, Jim Lee books. I'd like to get all 200 of them signed, to be honest. But of course, we have to prioritize. And for me, sometimes the obvious ones to me aren't the ones I want to get signed because they're the ones that get signed quite often. And for those books, I can just go on eBay and probably pick up something for like 50, 70 bucks. So for me, that's like not, it's not as interesting or fun to get signed when everybody else got signed. So for me, it's about what resonates with me on what Jim's worked on. And okay, so that Wolverine's a great example, right? The back cover, him signing what he drew on, and just having that as my personal copy. I think another one I'd want to get signed is, rather than Wildcats #1, get him to sign this one, which is this amazing grifter cover. I'd want to get him a signature on this grifter cover. Yeah. So assuming he comes to Rose City, for example, this year, and assuming he does the 3 books for $150 again, we get the Wolverine, we get the grifter, and I want to get this book signed. The Punisher Comics Interview. This is Jim's first published comic book interview. And I just love this cover. He's actually the cover artist in terms of that little piece right there. So just have him sign on the Punisher skull there, in black, right? Nice, simple book. Again, this isn't worth much, but it's his first interview. I love this character, and I already explained the significance of the Wolverine cover. So those are the 3 books we want Jim Lee to sign. Pretty straightforward. All right, so let's focus now on SummerCon. Well, let's start with we're gonna end with Larry Hama. So I'm gonna kind of put Larry Hama stuff to the side here and focus on. We're gonna kind of go down the list of people coming to SummerCon, and we're gonna kind of discuss some issues and topics. And Joe, I'm glad you're in the chat because you're gonna be one of the first to offer your thoughts on this as I pose the question in the title of this video. We'll get to that question in a bit. So Bob Hall is coming to SummerCon. Now, I'm not a big Bob Hall fan, but I am, aware of how big of an artist he was. And I do have a couple of Bob Hall books that are favorites of mine in the collection. They're not the highest grade books, but to be honest, they don't have to be. And getting these books signed would ensure that they stay in the personal collection. So I think I will get all of these signed by, no, two of these signed by Bob Hall. The first one is Willow. Now they just remade Willow, but it wasn't successful. Again, people attacking, attacking movies, TV series, just any kind of content for being quote unquote woke. I don't even understand why they would target a concept like woke, but that's probably led to its. I didn't watch it. Whether it was good or bad, it looked good, but again, people have their reasons for hating stuff. But for whatever reason, the original movie, it will always be, I think, a favorite of pop culture. It was disappointing to see that them bringing it back didn't do well, but who knows? We may see more from Willow. If we don't, it'll just be again a book a movie and a book that I appreciated. So get Bob Hall's signature on that. It's a low grade book, but having that will ensure it stays in the PC, be a part of the collection. And then the other one is this cover of West Coast Avengers. Again, this is another I don't want to say low grade, it's probably a mid-grade book. Could stand to use a clean and a press and some TLC, but pretty nice. But again, great cover there. First West Coast Avengers limited series. Get him to sign somewhere on this book. Great cover again. All right, so those are the two Bob Hall books that I want to get signed. The next artist we're going to meet is Mike Grell, and I don't have a lot of Mike Grell stuff. I know, Naman Hyung, met him and got a bunch of stuff signed. He's a big Warlord collector and got a bunch of Warlord books signed by Mike Grell. For me, I did read Longbow Hunters when I was younger. That had a lot of adult kind of themes, which is what I think made that an interesting series, right? It had some partial nudity or like sexual, sexually explicit material, violence, probably language as well. So that was kind of like a cool series to read. But I never really got into like Green Arrow stuff, but I do have this nice copy of Green Arrow 1, nice Grell art, Grell cover. I love it. I got this because of Seattle as the backdrop, and I do like the Green Arrow characters. So, yeah, I think getting this high grade copy, getting this signed by Mike Crow would be really kind of neat. I don't have a lot of time between now and when SummerCon happens in about a month, so I'm really just probably going to get that book signed by Mike Grell. I mean, if we pick up another Grell book on our hunts in between now and SummerCon, maybe we'll pick that up as well. But for now, Grell just has one book. And I want to keep it that way because I definitely want to focus the bulk of the time on Hama and Wolfman. Okay, Hama and Wolfman are the real reasons we're going to this thing. So we're really putting a lot of thought, maybe some investment into what books we want signed by them. So I've actually got a crap load of potential Marv Wolfman books here. Okay. But this is where I'm going to bring up this question. So I don't have a lot of signed books, but I think for me, that's where the fun of this hobby is, to connect with a creator, an artist, and that connection leading to some kind of, engagement where you're physically engaged with them through the book, right? They sign your book, they talk to you, that becomes a memory. So when you look at the signature, you're like, wow. And even if it's not a signature you get per se, having a signed book just means like, hey, they had that engagement, and it's a reminder. Like it's like a personalized, like they touched the book, they spent a part of their existence engaging with the collectible you own, right? So that's just I think that's why I think signature books are special. It's just, that artist had, um, this physical interaction with the book. So, it's really kind of weird is I got this book. Hey, Vic, what's up, guys? Thanks for hanging out. So, as you know, I got this slabbed. I bought it raw. The intent was to get at least an 8.5, get this book in high grade. I mean, it's high grade technically, but we were getting for 8.5. So we failed in that regard. I still love this book. Okay, I love this cover. I love this book. But one regret is I would have loved to have this book signed by Marv Wolfman. Okay, and this is where I'm bringing up the question. Now, for those of you who follow Golden Age Guru, he recently shared a slab that was remarked on. Like Kevin Eastman remarked on a slab in like colored, I think, oil pens or inks, and it was on the plastic of the slab, not on the book. He didn't remark the book, but it was done in color. It was like on the slab of a TMNT, I think, reprint or one or something. And it looked really cool, and kind of like there were a lot of comments saying like, yeah, that I'd get that done. I'd get that, So I'm posing the question, and I've seen this, I've seen collectors do this, where they get the slab signed by the artist in like a Sharpie marker, right? They get it just signed and they preserve that. They let it dry, let the ink dry, and then kind of I guess put it back in plastic and just they don't like get it out or expose it to like things that could uh, erase or smear over time. And I thought that's a great idea. Like, I have this Slab book that I want signed by uh, Wolfman. Why not have him signed just like right here on the top of the slab, right? Marv Wolfman on this top. Um, Apparently, there's some enamel that you can like spray on. So let's say he signed it in Sharpie, like a blue Sharpie or something, right? You let that dry, you let it set, and it's going to stay on that plastic. But there's a risk because if you expose it to moisture or alcohol or just even physically rubbing up against it, that will fade the signature over time. But again, if you put that enamel spray on the plastic, that will protect the signature, the integrity of that ink and signature for, unless you're like, again, if you're going to chemically rub that enamel off, it'll take it off. But assuming that enamel dries and it just sets and you don't do anything to it, it's going to keep that signature nice and permanent. And I was thinking, it's a signature, right? Whether it's on the book or it's on the casing, he's still signing the book. So that is another option. Um, I'm more and more leaning toward having him sign this slab and doing that, preserving that. Now I gotta test this out. I have all the materials here to sign, let dry, and I'll post this video when I actually do it, but kind of test it out and see how really resilient. I'm gonna try to rub it off and see if it comes off and all that. I'm gonna just try it, see how it works, and if it's good to go in terms of its resiliency and its permanence on the slab. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm really thinking of doing that right now because out of all these books I have raw, um, I would want this one signed more than anything, I think. So that is kind of how I'm thinking about approaching this. So with that being said, that would include this book as well. Yeah, getting Larry to sign it. I'd want Larry to sign it not in this area. For the Wolfman book, I'd want him to sign it here on the heading. But for Larry's, if he's going to sign the slab, I'd want him signed right on G.I. Joe. Larry Hama, right on the white G.I. Joe with a blue marker. And just kind of have him signed really big too, like Larry Hama as kind of larger than life. I mean, sure he'll have he's just got the muscle memory, right? Whatever he writes is fine, but hopefully giving him that canvas of the G.I. Joe will have him write a little larger than smaller. But that would be really cool to have on this slab. And that's a signature I want. I mean, this is I think his is his creme de la creme in terms of books. This is the best. He did all the artwork in the interior. He did all the writing, right? So writing, right? So for me, in this moment, this is the most significance of coming back with the signature on it. Now, I could crack it, have him sign the book, resubmit, do all that. Um, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, okay? Um, right? For the PC is fine, right? I know, again, well, not everybody's a fan of signatures or slabs on signatures. Um, Larry, I don't believe Larry was. Maybe he was. Maybe he was in the military. I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that fact. I don't believe he was. Um, but where was I going with this? Yeah. Um, Let me know what your thoughts are on getting signatures on the slabs, because a signature is a signature, to be honest, right? And whether it's on the book, obviously, if you want to get a signed book, um, this is not the way to go. But it's a signed collectible. Like, this entire unit is the collectible created slab, right? And having it signed is just another, you know, it's to me, it's the equivalent of having a book signed, right? It's just not on the physical book. It's on the preserved casing of the book. So, but the preserved casing is the collectible that you're keeping in your, that we're paying money to have graded and being kept preserved, right? Like, having the signature there on the surface, to me, has the same weight as having the book and getting a yellow label, right? So why pay reslabbing fees to do that? That's just my, we'll see. We'll just see, because if it comes to like getting this book signed and resubmitting, and it's going to be an easy lift at SummerCon if there's like CGC people there to help you with that. Um, I'll crack and sign and resubmit, okay, and get it in the yellow label. Um, I just think having it signed is on the slab is, for me, just as good. So I know a lot of people are going to have opinions on this, but let me know. I think I got to make a decision, and I want this book signed, but I'm not going to go out and get another raw copy and just get a raw signature and keep that raw book, like 2 copies of this, because this is a big book. For me to get this, even in like a low grade, it's going to cost me like $50, right? To get a high grade, like 200. So that's a big investment to just get a signature on. If I can, again, and this slab isn't going anywhere, I'm going to keep it. But again, if it's just the reslabbing fee, which is, I think, what is it? Probably going to be $20. I think it's 15. Was it? I think it's 5. It's like lower than the actual slabbing fee. It's just a few dollars lower. That may be the way to go. Again, we'll just, I'm going to take this. And again, if CGC's there saying, hey, we have the slip, all you have to do is pay the fees. And if it's like a reasonable fee with the signature witness and the slabbing, we'll do it that way. But I think, again, if it's too much of a hassle, if it's going to cost too much, I'll get the signature on this, pour that, again, pour the enamel on there and just keep it in this. And even if we do, let's say the plastic over time degrades and we have to somehow resubmit and get slabbed anyway, I, I will crack it myself, pull the book out, keep this preserved as just a Larry Hama, you know. I don't know. I'm kind of caught now. I think if it's just a matter of paying a couple extra dollars more to have the actual signature book, that may be the way I'm leaning. Well, it's a good thing I'm kind of thinking through these with you guys. I think I made a decision on this one. And I think I made a decision on, rather than getting this slab on that one, just get another copy. That one's rather cheap. I can get another copy of that for like $20, $30. So keep that one slabbed, get another copy, and get Wolfsman to sign another copy of that, and keep it raw. There, kind of made some decisions there on some key books. Now, the question of SummerCon is, how many books is Larry gonna be able to sign for free? Okay. And I think Larry has one, if you put your name on it, he'll sign your name, and so he'll say, who do I make it out to? And if you actually make it out to somebody, so that he knows you're not there to kind of sell, he'll probably do a lot of sign more books than fewer. Because I think if it's just his signature, he's charging, right? So given that, again, I will have him write my name or my moniker or whatever on the book, and have him sign as many books. So we just are unsure. We're going to take all of these books and try to get them all signed. But again, the G.I. Joe 21, if we're going to crack it and reslab it, that's something we'd pay for to do. Boom. That's a second book. I definitely want to get all my G.I. Joe signed, so that one is big. That one's the only one. Here's another big one. This one here. Right? And the cool thing about this one, actually, this is really cool, actually. Bob Hall is the inker on this one, interestingly enough. So we can get Larry and Bob Hall's signature on this. So that is my third Bob Hall book. But I'll get Larry and Bob's signature on this one. This is another one, The Origin. I want to get issue 26 because that's actually the book Larry wrote and did the interior work on. So if we get that between now and SummerCon, again, I could probably go online and get it for a couple of bucks. We'll do that. A high grade copy. But for the most part, The Origin is definitely one we're targeting. This Wolverine, this is my copy from high school. These are from college. This is one I picked up recently, the newsstand. And that kind of rounds out my Larry Hama stuff that we want to get signed. Same thing goes for Wolfman. We just don't know how many books he's going to be signing, but I would assume he'll have a few that he reserves for free, and we can maybe pay. But I think I want to whittle. I'm going to take a bunch of Wolfman books, but definitely have kind of 5 priority books that hopefully fall within the limit, or even if you have to pay a little bit more to get signatures on. And there are a lot of options. So as I said already, we're already going to target a raw copy of Crisis. It's number 7. We're going to get this one here signed. Crisis number 1 signed. I mentioned that. I forgot to mention this one as well. So back up. I think I mentioned here the Jim Lee book I wanted to get signed, right? I think we have to do a quick little revision here on the books that we want to get signed. So Jim Lee, we said the Wolverine, right? Punisher, but we're going to take out Grifter and we're going to get this one signed. The newsstand. And the reason I'm getting this one signed is because Naman Hyung actually got this signed. Looked really, in the black, looked really nice. But this is, again, my favorite. Probably artwork by Jim throughout his career. Definitely my favorite cover art, but probably my favorite overall artwork as well that Jim did at Marvel. Big piece, iconic piece right there. So yeah, I think the 3 would be this, and the Wolverine 50 for Jim's signatures, just to clarify. All right. So we're going to end with the Wolfman books that we want signed. There's a lot of books. Let me just show you. These are all the books that we could potentially get signed. I'm going to go through each one. But the priority ones are, again, the raw copy of Crisis 7, raw copy of Crisis 1, which is high grade. And this book, which is a high grade copy of Marvel Fanfare 10. And the reason I want to get this signed is because I already have the book signed by George Perez here. To get Marv signed right next to him would just make this book really special. Don't get personalized. Why not? Just came back in line. Send your wife and your kid. None of them are going to be there for the signing, so I don't mind getting it personalized. It's not going anywhere, guys. It's not going in. I'm not going to sell it. It's going to be stay in the family probably. So yeah, this is again. We've got 3 books right now, priority books. Those 3 are Wolfman. And then I'm just going to go through a bunch. We're going to take all of these. And if we can get more signed, great. If we can't get more signed, that's fine as well. Here's a really low grade copy of 8. But I mean, it's decent in terms of its presentation. Be a nice book to have signed. This one is a really cool one, and I didn't realize Wolfman had written the story on this. This is first Catwoman solo story in the Batman book, so it's kind of this separate Catwoman story inside of the main Batman story. Or I should say supplement to the main Batman story. And again, Wolfman wrote both stories on this one. So that's kind of cool. And I think having his signature on this book would be really, really cool as well. So that is a book. And then I've just got a bunch. I mean, I really would like him to sign all my Teen Titan books here. it's really hard to choose which one to pick over the. If we're talking about like my, this is another one. This is another priority one that we want to get signed. That's the Batman Year 3. This would have been really nice to have George and Marv's signature on together on this one. Just kind of feels like Forever Empty with just Marv's signature on there. I mean, this is going to prompt me to go, after this video, and look for a George Perez. I'm sure there are a bunch of these for sale. That's tempting. We'll see. But anyway, this is a book. The one I have in my possession is a book I think we want to target for Marv's signature. And then, again, I have this book here. This is a first appearance of Brother Blood. So that's something we can get signed. I do love this cover. We have Origin of Cyborg. We have first appearance of what's his face? The demon in this book. What's his name? His name's just, I'm blanking on his name. Blood something? What is it? I'm blanking on the name. There's this cover here. I think this is one of the first Deathstroke covers, if I'm mistaken, or the Terminator Deathstroke covers. And then this cover here as well. That's just a cool kind of like artistic cover there. I think it's the first appearance of Atari Force as well. Yeah, Atari Force, that's taking you back, right? The Atari game system. So there you have it. They've got a lot of Wolfman books that I'd like to get signed, and hopefully Marv will be generous enough to sign all of them. Assuming there's not a long line and all that stuff, which I think helps that I'm going Friday rather than Saturday. Friday's going to be the low-key one, I think. But having said that, if everybody's thinking that, it could end up being super busy on that one. But I think it will be low-key because at least it'll be low-key for the mass audiences. The mass people going to the event are definitely going to target Saturday and Sunday for the celebrity autographs. But for the comic geeks and the nerds, they probably want to avoid all those crowds and stuff. So it might be, for the comic book artists, it might be more Friday, Saturday. Friday might be more in demand for those people. But yeah, we've got lots of cool books. Either way, we're going to come back with some nice signed books for the collection. And I'm going to be so excited to share what we pick up and all that. So I'm kind of prioritizing stuff. I'll go through what I want to get signed first and foremost. Boom. 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 Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's the Wolfman stuff I'd want to get signed. I think I'd want the Crisis one signed before the Batman book. Batman 3 for sure. This one for sure. And this one for sure. So, assuming I can get this in a Perez signature, assuming I can get that off of eBay in time, we may just get that. We may take this out of the mix. I don't know. This one would be kind of cool to get signed to, even though he has nothing to do with this book. If we get the Batman 3 though in that, we wouldn't have to get this signed. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm actually going to go and check out eBay right now, see if I won the auction on the book I'm trying to get, and then try to get that book. All right. So I think I made up my mind. What we're going to do is we're going to get CGC to crack, resubmit yellow label for this one with Larry's signature on the book, not the slab, on the book. We'll just pay a little extra and get that done. So, make a decision on that one. That's exciting. That's very exciting. The next book, boom. So let's go through these here. We're going to prioritize. We're going to do boom, G.I. Joe number 26. This one. 38. 27. Can kind of get the set 26 and 27. Newsstand copy of this. Well, actually, no. Newsstand copy of that doesn't take precedent over this. My high school copy from college, and then this one. All right, fun kind of going over these with you. I'm glad. The other one we're targeting is this one for sure. So, got a lot of books that we want both Hama and Wolfman to sign. So, stay tuned. I'll keep you updated on any changes to this list, or I'm pretty much going to take these stacks of books for Wolfman, and so it's pretty significant actually. If I just go over, this is what I'm taking to SummerCon, like this stack right here. And whether we get all of these, and plus this slab, right? And plus a couple other books we're targeting. So whether I get all of these signed, I probably won't get all of them signed, but whether we get the key ones we are looking to get signed, whether those come back with me or not signed, I'll keep you updated. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Hey, K-pop. Thanks for popping in. And you have a couple Perez signatures. Is it on any of the books I'm looking for? Batman Year 3? Hit me up, Joe, if you're probably not going to sell them, but if you do want to sell them, hit me up. All right, see you guys later. Peace out.